Hi, I'm Paul from the Studio Rats. This is the second video in the series of the Guitarist Guide to Effects. In the last video we looked at reverb, and in this video we're going to be looking at delays. Now, I could be spending a whole hour doing a video on different delays, but specifically today we're going to be looking at tape delays. Now, I guess that's where delays started. Now, the first tape machine was invented in, I think it was 1930 in Germany. In the early 1950s, I think it was 1952, delay was incorporated into an amp with the Ray Butts Echo Sonic, and in 1959 the Echoplex came out. Around that same sort of time, 1960, in England we had a company called Hawkins that invented the copycat, and in the early 1970s Roland took it to the next level by inventing the Space Echo. With more or less every single modern delay pedal or delay plugin or multi-effects unit, you normally get a tape echo. You can think of tape delays or tape echo as in between digital delays and analog delay. You can think of digital delays being a really bright and exact copy of what you played. You can think of analog as a slightly duller, warmer sort of sound. Tape delay falls in between because you can still get a pretty good copy of what you played, but it's never going to be exactly the same. It's never going to be as bright as a digital delay because tape is limited frequency wise to the frequencies it can reproduce. Again, I'm going to be using the Quad Cortex for this. Now, the Quad Cortex, as I said before, I'm not saying that it's any better than any other multi-effects unit, but it's just got all the parameters of delays that you would expect to find on any of the delays that you're probably going to be working on. So let's bring everything back to start with. I'm going to bring back the wow and the flutter and the mix. The guitar sound without the delay sounds like this. If I bring in the delay by turning up the mix, let's go all the way. If I've got the mix up to 100%, I'm not going to get the original guitar tone. I'm only going to get the delayed response. So let's bring the mix back to, let's keep it fairly high. Let's bring it back to about 60%. Feedback is the amount of repeats. So if I turn up the feedback to about 20%, if I bring it all the way back to 0, at 0% we only get one repeat. And if I take it up to 100%, it starts to self-oscillate, so that's repeating and repeating and loading it into itself, so eventually it will just become this big distorted noise. Right, again, if you saw the last video, you'll understand what high pass and low pass is. Basically, high pass is the amount of low frequency of the delays that you're going to let through, and low pass is the exact opposite. It's the amount of high frequencies you're going to let through. What I like to do with delays is to remove the delays away from the original guitar tone. So I don't want my delays repeating exactly what I'm playing on the guitar because it tends to get muddy and mushy in the mix. So if I take my high pass up to around about sort of 200 Hertz and my low pass, if I turn it up full, you see you're getting all that high end guitar tone through. And if I bring it back, say to about 2K, see it's a lot duller. Because I have the EQ set like that, I can tend to have the mix higher as the delay signal is not going to interfere with the guitar tone. So let's turn the mix up a little bit more. And let's bring the low pass up just a little bit. As you can hear at the moment, this is a mono delay. A lot of multi-effect delays allow you to turn it into ping pong mode. Now basically what that means is the delays are going to be bouncing from side to side. So let's turn that on. And that sounds like this. Ping pong mode is really great if you want to separate your guitar, which is going to come straight down the middle, from the delays, which are going to be panning from side to side. But for the moment, let's keep it on mono, as it's more of a pronounced effect. A lot of delays nowadays come with a tap tempo mode, and that's what this sync is. So what I can do is to sync it to a certain tempo. Now, if I turn the sync off, I can actually set the delay time here. So let's bring back the delay time. Now, a delay time, say between 80 milliseconds and 120 milliseconds is known as a slap delay. So if I bring the delay time up to around that sort of area, I've got 114 milliseconds. But in this video, I'm just going to keep it on the sync mode. And if I come out of the delays, I can actually set my tap tempo here by tapping on this control here and then changing the tempo here. Because we're using it in sync mode, we're syncing it to the tempo that I've set. We've got all these different choices here of sync note. Now, I can bring it all the way back to 64th triplets, which to be honest, you wouldn't really hear because it's so fast. As I change the division of these notes, you'll hear the delay coming in as I'm basically slowing down the delay. I'm going to leave it on dotted eighth notes, as this is my favourite division to use it in, because you can get that U2, you know, the edge sort of sound. I'm actually going to bring the mix up just a little bit more. Now lastly, we've got wow and flutter. Wow and flutter is basically a defect in the tape. As tapes start to get older and as the heads start to get worn down, we've got wow and flutter. And you can think of wow and flutter as a chorus effect. So if I turn up the wow, you can hear like a slow chorus effect on the delays. If I turn down the wow and bring up the flutter, you can hear like a warble. And if I bring them both up together, you can really hear the delays modulating. Now what I like to do with this is just to bring them back sort of to a sensible level. So let's bring them back to about, I don't know, say 35%. Now with my guitar sounds, I tend to never use chorus as I don't really like the sound of it, but I love modulation inside of delays and reverbs. I think they sound great, and it always adds that little bit of extra to the delays and the reverbs. The reason why I love using dotted eighth note delays is the fact that you can play really simple lines and the delays are creating another rhythm with that simple line to create a much more complicated effect. So if I turn off the delay here and I play like a simple part, and then switch on the delay, I'm Paul from the Studio Rats. I really hope you guys got something out of this video. If you did get something out of the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, click on the bell button, and you'll be notified of any future video that comes out from the Studio Rats. If you have any comments or if there's any other effects that you'd like to see in this series of videos, let me know in the comments below. I'm Paul from the Studio Rats, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.